What's going on, everybody? We're back here with the fourth game of the Eclipse 31K tournament. This is the grand finals, and it's again Luke and Nidintu against Dio and Cleo. And so now that it's game 4, you guys are back with Macedon and Rome against Greece and Rome. And any changes to the armies?
Yeah, I believe I brought more archers and less cav in this game. So yeah, surprise, surprise. It's Mac Rome against Greece Rome again. We drew the short straw. We had to play Mac Rome 3 times to their 2, and Mac Rome turned out to be the decisively weaker faction in this weaker faction pairing in this tournament. Although it might not necessarily be weaker objectively, I think my pike play has advanced considerably since the time of these games, but in this series, certainly with the level of skirmishing that was going on, Macron was considerably worse. So yeah, our armies have just got like 8 archers-ish, 2 cavalry, and the rest are pikes.
Yeah, well, it's like probably, what is this, 11 pikes, so probably 7, right?
7 archers, makes more sense. And we've got a 14 and 6 for Rome.
And now for Greece, it looks like so Dio is playing Greece, and he has 2 militia cav out here on the extreme flank. Then for he has 2, 5, 7, 9, 11, 12 Spartans, so 6 archers probably.
Yeah, I believe some of them are slingers.
Oh, yeah, I could have ratings as well. Yeah. 1, 2, let's see.
I believe it's 3 and 3.
Yeah, 3 and 3. And then looks like 2, 12, and 6 for Cleo.
Yeah.
With 2 archer Cleo.
So
yeah,
we can probably fast forward a bit, yeah.
So, since this is the second time you guys are playing against Macedon, what did you guys change from the first game, or plan on changing at least?
We just didn't find much of a use for my cavalry in the first game, so we decided to invest more in archers. Not necessarily the way I would go if we could redo it, but it's not a bad plan. And with proper technique, I do believe we could have won this game, but my technique was a bit lacking.
What do you think about bringing militia cav for Greece, though?
I think it's stupid. That's what I think. That he would have been better served to just take more missile units. Yeah, right now I think I pulled my back line of Cretans through my front line a bit. I don't think I lost that many Cretans, but it was a bit of a mistake.
Looks like Nidintu is just chasing off these slingers to have less range.
Yes, that was the idea. Just push them back, get some back shots. The goal in this game was to really outlast the opponents. We were more prepared for that sort of grindy style.
Looks like here, obviously, Dio is going to try to push Rome with the Spartans.
Yep, and we are going to, I believe we do Pila. Right?
Yeah, get some nice Pila, always good.
Which in hindsight, I don't think we would have done to such a great extent.
Just to save some for the Urbans?
Yeah, I think we would have definitely gone after the Urbans first and foremost, because those pikemen can really handle Spartans.
Yeah, that's true. And that definitely was the issue in the last game too, where the Urbans were pushing through your pikes, and the Spartans weren't as much of a problem.
Right.
But yeah.
So we're just unloading on these Spartans.
But clearly they're happy to take that sacrifice because that's what they're going for.
And we've got Urbans and good sword fights here, so the whole situation for us is not really bad at all so far. But again, we would play a bit differently if we could redo it. Definitely with Pila and being a bit more conservative with our Roman units potentially. So right now we're just sort of defending.
Well, Nidintu has gone to Testudo here. Obviously, you're not going to take much casualties.
At a certain point, I believe I will try and poke those Spartans.
Meanwhile, the Archer Warriors is still going on. I think they have more archers, right?
Yeah, they do. They have a slight numerical advantage. Yeah.
That's definitely been a theme where Greece has been a little better in the Archer War in most of these games, but not without the cav advantage. but we'll see how that goes.
I should really be pushing in and poking. I don't think it's good to just sit here and let them poke us, but I do believe we had some sort of strategic idea going here. I don't agree with it. I guess this goes on for a while. Maybe we could double speed through this staring contest. But yeah, this isn't good. We're just losing men. So yeah, eventually here I wake up and so what I'm going to try and do is just get into pike range, but not into spear range, which I'm sort of doing. That's a little too close with that pike.
Yeah. But it is a little bit on the flank.
Yeah, it's not bad positioning, but I believe that the urbans are going to force me out of that position. It might take losses on the retreat because I'm too close there. But yeah, we've got some good positions. Those Spartans right there are dying.
And here it looks like they repositioned, but they will take losses, and now they're going to be able to peel the royals.
Right. And this is not really what we want. We don't want this sort of spread out combat. If we were to redo this, we would fight far more concentrated, because royals just don't. Royals are just going to get pushed through if they're like spread out in lines like this. So this game is going to be a bit. It's not exactly a crowd pleaser. It's very grindy. So you might want to double speed, I guess, or some of this maneuvering.
Yeah, these urbans are going to get some good angles here.
Yeah, and then we're going to probably melee engage there and pull back into the pikes. So again, this is sort of a naive strategy. I wouldn't say it's not stupid, because we do have good intuition about the game, but it is a bit of a naive strategy that we're using here to try and win this grindy war. Poking at range is just not really that sustainable. Macedon should fight more as a collective unit, so that's an issue.
And now these Spartans are going to be able to, where these royals have taken a lot of damage, these Spartans are going to be able to do good damage against Rome.
Yep.
And force you to bring in your next line.
Yeah, and that's a big issue. Is that we've taken more urban losses than they have, and urbans really do well against royal pikemen, especially in this sort of combat, this sort of messy type combat.
Yeah, but once you start to run out of urbans, can be harder, and these urbans can start to flank and cause more damage. And obviously the Spartans are still a holding force, and they can obviously screen against Cav. But the Cav has been pretty much doing nothing for either side the whole game.
Yep. Yeah, we decided that we wanted to kill their Spartans first, and then we thought again once the Spartans are depleted, our cavalry will find openings because we have a melee cavalry advantage. But that's not really how it turned out. The Spartans can really defend even at low numbers, and they can pull out of engagements. That 2 hit point and high morale characteristic of Spartans makes them pretty hard to wear out and wear down. So we really should have gone after the urbans preferentially over the Spartans, and then shot down the Spartans or just poked them to death.
Right, once it gets into like Spartans against the Royals, the Spartans are going to have a harder time pushing in, and the Royals can really, and then your Cav becomes more of a weapon because the Spartans have to engage and actually attack rather than being like a screen.
Precisely. So yeah, again, kind of grindy. You could even probably triple.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like small micro going on here, just like little things, just trying to get little advantages. I thought both sides did a pretty good job about.
But you can see that you guys are pretty much all just extra royals now, as they've mostly engaged and lost some men. So it's going to be, I can see they play here. Some more action comes in here, and see pretty much you have no more reinforcements. So all the royals are pretty much doing something. They're engaged, and he has a lot of Spartans that are still out of the fight, and a lot of urbans as well. So this is going to start to get a little bit harder.
Yeah, absolutely. We should have had more reserves, which we would have had if we didn't fight this sort of spread out type of combat. So again, a lot of things can be traced back to that bad combat style. So Greece, with more reserves, is just able to get good angles, and they're really going to wrap up our flank here. And as you can see, we've already we're already really in a bad position here.
Pretty much, I mean, just like the grind has gone badly. I mean, there's nothing else. Like, yeah, I mean, you can see the amount of numbers here. Now Nidintu's infantry is kind of trapped here because you had to fall back because they were starting to wrap, and now these guys are into stew. They can't really retreat from Spartans.
Right. So what we're going to do now is start being, I think, a bit more aggressive, because we have to be. So there's a certain point where we decide that we need to make a game-changing play, and we'll make an attempt. So maybe we want to double, I don't know.
Yeah.
It goes back to being grindy for a bit, I think.
But you can see the position is just deteriorating over time. Yeah,
Yeah.
just eventually it's gonna.
And now I start to do what I should have done all along, which is create a smaller perimeter with my pikes.
And finally, if your cav is trying to, well, I guess they're just chasing off these militia cav. But yeah, now that you have really created a small force, and you can see how that creates reserves just by virtue of having a smaller front.
Right. So now we've actually sort of stabilized the position a little bit. It's not looking as grim as it was a while ago, but
yeah.
And we've even managed to rout a few urbans here, it looks like.
But they are pushing through Nidintu's forces here.
And they're getting into my pikes as well. So it starts to turn against us again here. And I'm going to reform, get smaller. And the smaller I get, the more advantageous the engagements are for me. But unfortunately, I think we've lost too many units already. So at this point, I basically decide to form a hedgehog, or close to it. And Cleo just sort of pushes through here slowly.
Obviously, that creates a lot of, like, Nidintu becomes a target when you box up so heavily, because the Spartans can just pick their targets.
And so the game is still pretty close, so I mean it really depends on how these engagements go, but you can see this one Testudo is really getting in there.
And the follow-up, yeah.
So we start trying to make plays with our cavalry, maybe get a strike in and hold out with those pikes in the end, but it's difficult to find an opening. They're screening with Spartan hoplites and shit.
And the formation here in the pike box has been deteriorating pretty heavily. Nidintu just try to break these Testudos, but this doesn't really.
Yeah, it's hard to break them. I don't really have a good position pinning them down here, and they're winning in combat. When a unit's winning combat, it's very hard to break it, even with rear charges.
Yeah.
So here it really starts to get out of control. Now we pretty much know that it's like do or die. Just gotta like kill all their cavalry and like get ridiculous slices on units in order to win this game. So we're going for it,
But they have so much support, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much over. So that was a solid fourth game. It is what it is, I guess.
We just tripled here, yeah. I mean, it shows that like the cav disadvantage that like in theory is there for the Greece side isn't really that big of a deal. Like we could see, like you guys didn't have any openings the entire game for the cav.
Right.
And like even at the end of the game, there's still like tons of Spartans and even just the Roman infantry and support. It's really hard to do anything.
No doubt.
Yep. So we'll go to a game 5 and we'll have that next. So thanks for watching and see you next time.